If I can win races and be a contender for that championship, I'm staying where I am, and I'm not ready to back off a bit.
Dale Earnhardt wasn't just a NASCAR legend. He was the embodiment of grit, determination, and the relentless pursuit of victory. Known as the Intimidator, Dale built a career on fearlessness, pushing the limits at every turn in the name of glory and the American spirit. But that same intensity may have come at a devastating cost. Behind the roar of engines and cheering crowds was a complex man with a turbulent family life, especially with his son. How did he rise to fame? What was really going on between him and his son? And what truly caused his fatal crash in that final ride? Today, we uncover the untold story of Dale Earnhardt, the man, the myth, and the legacy he left behind. The Earnhardt family. This is the story of passion and hard work in the world of NASCAR racing. Ralph Earnhardt began as a mechanic for his brother, and his son, Dale Earnhardt, grew to be a legend. Now his grandson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., is also a NASCAR star. This story covers several generations from Ralph, who faced numerous challenges, to Dale Jr.'s different achievements. Ralph Earnhardt, born in 1928 in North Carolina, was born in a very poor family. In fact, he had to work in a cotton mill when he was still a child to support his poor family, but he always had the desire to become a race car driver. He saved his money and was able to buy a race car and began participating in dirt track races, though these tracks were covered in dust and dirt and were in sharp contrast to modern. It was common knowledge that Ralph was a cleanliness freak and paid attention to every single detail around him. All the time he insisted on having a clean and well-maintained cars, even if it was parked most of the time on dusty dirt tracks. This hard work started paying off, and he received recognition along with sponsorships that enabled him to race full-time. Ralph raced for many years and won quite a number of races and championships, making him one of the most successful drivers of his generation. All in all, his story is comparable to the inspiring legends of the American dream, proving that everything is possible through hard work and creativity. Born in the heart of this racing culture, Dale Earnhardt was born on April 29, 1951, in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Right from childhood, Dale had chances to show his innate ability and love for racing. He was already racing at the age of 12 years and would sometimes take his father's position in the race. Although Ralph appreciated Dale's skills and encouraged him to race, he also wanted his son to finish school and have a stable career rather than a dangerous job as a racer. But Dale was not deterred in any way because his mind was fixed on the course he wanted to pursue. He could not get away from racing. It seemed it was in his system, and he was willing to risk whatever it would take to pursue it. More conflicts were between Dale and his father that stemmed from Dale's desire to quit school in the 9th grade to pursue racing. Ralph, who believed in and toiled for a brighter future for his family, was bitter and distant from Dale. Nonetheless, Dale got married at 17 and started his career in racing, which worsened the relations between him and Ralph. This is because the two started distancing from each other as they pursued different careers in racing. After some time, Ralph became less bitter and sought to bury the hatchet with Dale. Their rivalry lessened, and in 1972, they competed again on a dirt track. This could be seen as a sign of reconcilement. Sadly, Ralph passed on due to cardiac arrest in 1973 while working on a carburetor at home. He was only 45, and Dale was only 22. This loss was instrumental in defining Dale and solidifying his attitude towards the future and life in general, using every opportunity. Dale Earnhardt's racing was daring and forceful. He was the Intimidator. His attitude every time he was racing was to give it all or get left behind because, to him, life was very short. This style made him a highly successful and famous driver, but also exposed him to certain levels of risk. Over the course of his career, which consisted of 7 NASCAR Winston Cup championships and many wins, the most memorable and highly emotional victory for Dale was the Daytona 500 of the 1998 year. The Earnhardt legacy is more than just winning. It is about facing adversity, loving what one does, and achieving goals in life. Ralph from rags to riches, Dale never giving up on his dreams, and Dale Jr. trying to make his own place in racing all represent the American dream. Dale had a natural inclination towards cars right from childhood. He left school at the 9th grade, and after job hopping for a while, he tried to establish his own racing career. Ralph died of a heart attack in 1973. In May 1975, 2 years later, his son started his stock car racing career, finishing 22nd in the World 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The journey of a 1,000-mile begin with a step. How then did Dale start his racing career? And what were his plans? Racing beginnings. Dale finally got sponsorship from Rod Osterlund, a racing sponsor from California, and the driver signed his first full Winston Cup contract for the 1979 season. In that year, Earnhardt triumphed in his first race in the NASCAR Tour at the Southeastern 500 in Bristol, Tennessee. By the end of the racing season, he had earned $204,445 in his rookie year and received NASCAR's Rookie of the Year award.
He won 76 NASCAR Cup races and earned over $42 million in winnings. The veteran racer drove as if he were invincible, and time again, it seemed that way.
The following year proved to be even more fruitful for Earnhardt as he clinched his first career NASCAR Season Points Championship, or the Winston Cup Championship, but only by a slim margin over the more experienced Cale Yarborough. The victory also made Earnhardt the first Rookie of the Year and Points Championship winner in consecutive years. After Osterlund sold his team to J.D. Stacy in 1981, Earnhardt joined Richard Childress, a former driver who became a car owner. He raced for the Bud Moore team the next 2 years, but he again joined Childress for the 1984 season, and his career began to soar. Following his 4-race triumph in 1985, Earnhardt claimed 5 victories and the second Winston Cup title in 1986. In the next year, Earnhardt improved his statistics even further and won 11 races and got his 3rd championship. Nevertheless, he could not escape controversy early in his racing career and was regarded as reckless at times. Known as Ironhead and the Intimidator, he would aggressively push other cars out of the way to take a lead during a particularly close race. When the president of NASCAR warned him in 1987 about his behavior on the track, Earnhardt changed his ways and started building better relationships with drivers on the circuit. His success on the track persisted, and in 1990 was able to clinch his 4th Winston Cup championship, besides being able to earn $3,083,056. In 1991, he was once again crowned the champion. This put an end to his winning streak in 1992, when he only managed to rank 12th in the overall standings. Despite this, Earnhardt successfully clinched another championship the following year. In 1994, Earnhardt scored his 8th career victory in the AC Delco 500 in his home state of North Carolina to tie the record of Richard Petty for the most Winston Cup championships. For the 3rd time within the space of 5 years, he earned more than $3 million, and nobody could deny that he was the undisputed king of stock car racing. Further records in 1990 continued to compile for Earnhardt, though he did not clinch another points championship. In 1996, he joined an elite group of Winston Cup racers as the third driver to start 500 consecutive races. The following year, he crossed $30 million of his career earnings, the highest ever earned by any race car driver. The only race that had not fallen to Earnhardt until this year was the Daytona 500, a prestigious event in stock car racing held in Daytona, Florida. He was a contender several times. His chance at winning was knocked down by a mechanical breakdown, an accident, or something else. Earnhardt had a terrible wreck at the event in 1997, yet came back in February 1998 to win his first time at Daytona in the 20 times he had competed, thus ending a string of 59 consecutive races without a win. That year, he ranked 8th overall in points. The next season, he ranked 7th, and the following season, he ranked 2nd. In 22 seasons entirely racing on the circuit, he achieved 20 top 10 finishes. Ralph Earnhardt and his son Dale had many controversies between them and were not close. While Ralph dreamt of a secure future for Dale with a well-established education and a balanced job, Dale could never get enough of racing. It created much conflict between them, especially when Dale left school in the 9th grade to become a full-time racer. Ralph's disappointment was palpable. He had struggled to make ends meet and believed that education would change the lives of his family. He wanted Dale to be different, to not go through the struggles he had gone through in his life. However, as both of them continued with the racing business, they drifted apart. Ralph carried on racing and working in the garage, while Dale struggled with the reality of finding his way in the racing industry. There was some sort of mutual respect and admiration between them, even though they were not on speaking terms. From Ralph's own experiences, Dale must have learned everything that is necessary for racing, sacrifices, and hard work. Their rivalry began in 1972, when they had a one-on-one race on the dirt track. It enabled them to interact and thus reconcile after experiencing such a terrible incident. It was a moment of sharing and acceptance, as both understood how passion fueled their lives. Unfortunately, their reunion did not last for a long time. Ralph died of a heart attack. This loss affected Dale deeply, and it made him more determined to carry on with his father's dream through his own racing career. Thus, the early death of his father greatly influenced Dale's attitude to racing. He was extremely confrontational on the track, and thus they named him the Intimidator. This attitude, coupled with his belief that life was short, thus one had to do everything to succeed. This approach helped him to achieve tremendous success, but resulted in various consequences. For instance, the fatal accident that claimed his life. In the final stage of the Daytona 500 race, Dale Earnhardt's car hit the wall, and the racer tragically died.
But after the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
It caused a stir in the racing world and raised question marks over the safety measures in NASCAR. Less than a week after Dale's demise, it emerged that the lap belt on Dale's harness had broken, implying that a better belt could have saved him. This revelation brought a lot of attention and pressure to enhance measures of safety in the sport. Bill Simpson, the owner of Simpson Performance Products, felt the heat and was forced to resign. But sports writer Ed Hinton of the Orlando Sentinel contended that attention to the seatbelt in question was unwarranted. Hinton tried to obtain Dale's autopsy reports, but was blocked by Dale's widow, Teresa Earnhardt, who had the autopsy report sealed by a court order. This decision only contributed to speculation and discussion over the circumstances that led to Dale's death. Finally, an outside specialist went through the post-mortem report and stated that Dale's death was not caused by a defective seatbelt alone. The investigator realized that inadequate head and neck support had played a major role in the fatality of the incident. This finding exonerated Simpson Performance Products, but also highlighted a critical oversight. It was surprising that the HANS, which means head and neck support device that had been recommended by NASCAR, was not worn by Dale. NASCAR subsequently required the drivers to use the HANS device and made other safety changes that have contributed to a decrease in fatalities in the sport. Fame is not an easy thing, and sometimes it affects your normal life. How was Dale Jr. able to gain fame then? How Dale Earnhardt Jr. gained fame. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was born on October 10, 1974 in Kannapolis, North Carolina, and has always been surrounded by racing. As it could be expected, the son of the legendary Dale Earnhardt Jr. was naturally attracted to racing. However, he had a large burden of how to come out of his father's dominance and make his mark in NASCAR. Both determination, talent, and the wish to remember his family and make a new way for himself characterized this actor's way to fame. Since childhood, Dale Jr. had an interest in car racing. He moved from go-karts to stock cars and was able to develop his skills and gain necessary experience. Through his father, he learned the tricks of the trade and the hard work that is involved in the sport. His early racing experiences could be said to be a combination of emulating his father's success and the challenges that come with being an Earnhardt. Another important promotion was the victory in the NASCAR Busch Series, now known as Xfinity Series, in 1998, which proved that Dale Jr. was capable of achieving a lot, and the following year, he repeated the victory. And it was evidence of the fact that he is capable to leave a mark in NASCAR as a star in his own right. The year 2000 saw Dale Jr. joining the NASCAR Cup Series, driving for DEI, the team that his father established. He earned his first Cup Series race at the DirecTV 500 in Texas, proving that he is capable of performing at the highest level of the sport. His forceful yet calculated manner behind the wheel, much like his father's, endeared him to followers in no time. The success story of Dale Jr. continued as he clinched more victories at major events such as the All-Star Race and the Pepsi 400. Perhaps one of the most touching moments in the whole career of Dale Jr. was the year 2001, after the fatal accident which killed his father at the Daytona 500. Dale Jr. went back to Daytona in July of that year, and he emerged victorious in the Pepsi 400, a race that was the epitome of symbolism and emotion. This win was dedicated to his father, and also an indicator that Dale Jr. was a fighter and had not given up on racing. It was a moment that was not only epic and defining within the sport, but also had the power to emotionally resonate with fans from all around the globe. For the remainder of his career, Dale Jr. climbed higher and higher, securing many wins and other accomplishments. He was able to claim victory in the Daytona 500 twice, and that was in 2004 and 2014. Making him a two-time winner of the prestigious event in NASCAR. His stock rose, and he was not only seen as a racer, but as a personality, one who could relate with fans. The popularity of Dale Jr. can be attributed to his interaction with his fans on social media platforms, as well as his interactions with his fans in other aspects of his life. Aside from his achievements on the racetrack, Dale Jr. also made a tremendous contribution off of it as well, especially in terms of advocating for driver safety and bringing about change for the better in the wake of his father's fatal crash in 2001 to the HANS device and other safety technologies. He too had his rough patches where he struggled with his car, especially in the mid-2000s, and was hounded with doubts, but never gave up on his racing career. Rather, worked harder to get better, only to stage a comeback and start winning again. Then, in 2017, Dale Jr. retired from full-time racing, which can be considered the end of an era for one of the most popular NASCAR drivers. His retirement was followed by rants of tributes from fans, fellow drivers, and the whole racing fraternity. Dale Jr. contributed to the development of the sport not only by his victories on the track, but also as a driver who represented NASCAR and motivated fans and future drivers. Although having gained more than enough for years, Dale Jr. finally said enough. Why did he say that? And also, who has the capacity and ability to replace him? Dale Earnhardt Jr. departs NBC Sports. NASCAR broadcasts who will replace him. In a statement, NBC Sports has announced that Dale Earnhardt Jr. will no longer be involved in its NASCAR broadcasts anymore. This piece from The Athletic puts an end to Earnhardt's run with NBC, where he landed as an analyst in 2018 after stepping away from full-time racing in 2017. Earnhardt, a NASCAR Hall of Famer and 15-time most popular driver, had been a regular presence in the broadcast booth, working alongside play-by-play man Rick Allen and analysts Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. In a statement to Forbes, an NBC official appreciated Earnhardt for his services, especially in the NASCAR, and as a correspondent for other events such as Indianapolis 500, Kentucky Derby, Super Bowl, and Olympics, among others. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a popular figure in NASCAR circles and has been an active figure with NBC Sports in recent years. We appreciate Dale and his contributions and wish him the very best moving forward, the statement added. Earnhardt had also stated earlier on that he has not made up his mind whether to renew his contract with the NBC, which was to expire at the end of the year 2023. "I am still trying to figure out what that process looks like for me," Earnhardt said. "I definitely love being in the broadcast booth and want to continue doing that," Busch said of his voice work during his Zoom interview. "We've had some great conversations with all of NASCAR's TV partners. My home and my love are at NBC, and I'd love to be back with them. So we'll see on that front, but right now, I really don't have a job in terms of broadcasting." Not only that, he is also involved in part ownership of JR Motorsports that participates in a number of other lesser series, such as NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. just dropped some huge news about JR Motorsports and its future in the NASCAR Cup Series, and it's something fans have been dying to hear.
He sometimes competes in this series and has his own multimedia company, Dirty Mo Media, which has grown in the last few years. Earnhardt has had a podcast called The Dale Jr. Download, which NBC aired in a shortened format. But now it is an internet show, which can be watched mostly on YouTube. As for the future of Earnhardt, it remains unknown. The leaked report of The Athletic included a possible switch to Amazon Prime and Warner Brothers Discovery. Fox Sports will be broadcasting the first 14 races of the next NASCAR season as a result of the new 7-year media rights contract. Amazon will offer 5 races on its Prime Video service and present the next 5 on TNT and the BR Sports section of the Max streaming service. The final 14 races will be aired by NBC, with 4 of them on the main NBC, while the rest will be aired on USA Network. The new media rights deal also changes the landscape of practice and qualifying sessions in the Cup Series in a big way. Apart from the Clash exhibition, Daytona 500, and NASCAR All-Star Race exhibition, these sessions will be available only on Amazon Prime in the first half of the season only. In the second semester, they will be available to watch on Warner Brothers' Discovery Max and broadcast on True TV. We are now looking forward as to who might take Earnhardt's place in the NBC booth. IROC's most recent retired driver, Kevin Harvick, has already signed with Fox Sports. Kurt Busch, who left full-time racing in 2022 due to his injuries, has previously worked for Fox as the pit reporter for their truck series and several Xfinity races. He is currently an advisor at 23X1 Racing, but has shown desire for a TV job. In an interview in 2023, Busch was quizzed if he would accept a part on TV if offered one. "I would consider it," he said. "The TV stuff for the Cup show. That's where I would want to be and be part of. I'm game and receptive to whatever."
38 weekends a year, you'll find Junior in the red Budweiser number 8 car, racing for millions in prize money on the NASCAR circuit.
NBC Sports now has the task of coming up with analysts that may be as popular and knowledgeable as Earnhardt was. This will create a huge void, and fans will be wondering who will replace him in the near future. The new hire will need to fit well into the existing team of Rick Allen, Steve Letarte, and Jeff Burton, so that the broadcast gets interesting and informative coverage of NASCAR events. One possible nominee is Carl Edwards, who is a famous NASCAR driver who unexpectedly left the job in 2016. Edwards, who is known for his articulate and analytical approach to the game, could work well in front of a microphone. His skills in driving, as well as in explaining strategies and technicalities, would be an asset to the team and the organization. Another candidate is Jamie McMurray, who already proved himself as an analyst on Fox Sports Network. McMurray, who is known for his calm personality and vast knowledge of NASCAR, could be the steady and informative figure between Allen, Letarte, and the energetic Burton. Whichever candidate NBC selects, he or she must move with speed to ensure continuity in order to meet the high expectations of the fan base. There will be big expectations for the new analyst, but with the right selection, NBC has the potential to provide high-quality NASCAR coverage. His exit likewise prompts questions on his activities in the future. Should he transfer to Amazon Prime or Warner Bros. Discovery, it could mark the beginning of a new era of how NASCAR content is delivered. Streaming platforms are becoming a more prevalent source of sports broadcasts due to the flexibility and accessibility they provide for rights holders that legacy networks cannot. It is implied that Earnhardt's appearance in a streaming platform might bring new fans, audience, and increase the popularity of NASCAR. Meanwhile, Earnhardt can be expected to remain busy with his other business interests, such as JR Motorsports and Dirty Mo Media. His podcast, The Dale Jr. Download, continues to be a staple for NASCAR enthusiasts, offering extended interviews and insider information about the races. But with this new career transition, it is without doubt that Earnhardt will remain relevant to the sport in a different way. The cost of greatness. The story of Dale Earnhardt is one of success and failure, of ambition realized and ambition lost forever. His career, filled with unchallenged triumph and rigorous tenacity, also inversely illuminated the dangers and the costs of professional racing. As much as Dale was famous and was posting wins consistently due to his aggressive driving style, he died young. His legacy, however, goes beyond his accomplishments on the racetrack through having an impact on key safety enhancements in NASCAR. Cautious is the word that does not fit to describe Dale Earnhardt, as he used to race fearlessly and with no mercy on competitors.
Dale Earnhardt has enjoyed more success here at Talladega than anyone in the history of the sport, with those 7 major wins.
He got the nickname the Intimidator, and he was very rough on the track, forcing his rivals to drive dangerously. This style made him a very dangerous fighter and a favorite of crowds, but it also has its dangers. Dale's desire to win was equally a strength and a weakness, since it motivated him to achieve victory while at the same time putting him at risk. These dangers were brought to the limelight by a fatal crash that occurred in the Daytona 500 in the year 2001. In the last lap, while racing, Dale crashed into the wall, and that caused a severe accident. The preliminary study pointed to a broken seatbelt as the cause of his death and raised questions about the NASCAR safety measures. Bill Simpson, the owner of Simpson Performance Products, became a victim of backlash. and although he tried to justify himself, he had to resign in the middle of it all. But, as would be later discovered, the absence of a functioning seatbelt was not the only reason for Dale's death. An independent expert opined that absence of head and neck support had been instrumental in the tragedy. This finding changed the concern from the seatbelt to the general aspects of safety. The Hans, which is head and neck support device that NASCAR had been touting, was determined to be a life-saving piece of safety equipment that could have protected Dale. This conflict between the desire for safety and autonomy was exemplified when Dale decided not to use the Hans device, as he felt that it hindered his mobility. This decision, though had its part in his fatal accident, was a wake-up call for the entire racing fraternity. NASCAR also made the Hans device mandatory, and other safety improvements, such as better car models and enhanced crash barriers. These measures have since been attributed to have prevented so many losses and deaths in the sport. The story of Earnhardt family symbolizes struggle and pursuit of excellence, but it also has a price for it. Dale's behaviors, such as driving aggressively and rejecting specific safety features, were part of him and contributed to his success, but also led to his death. Unfortunately, his demise triggered many changes within NASCAR to guarantee future generations of drivers improved safety measures. The story of Dale Earnhardt shed light on many issues on risk-taking, reward, and most importantly, safety and precaution, especially in high-risk professions. He is also remembered for the number of successes and championships he had achieved. The same can be said about his death as well. The changes that have been made after Dale's accident have ensured that no other tragedy is repeated, and that memory of him is kept alive by ensuring that driver safety is enhanced in NASCAR. Besides his impact on safety, Dale Earnhardt made a significant impact on NASCAR and motorsports as a whole in general. The personality he portrayed by having a tough exterior and an attractive personality was able to engage crowds and invigorate people about the sport. Due to its color and number, the black number 3 car became one of the most famous racing cars that symbolized Dale's determination and competitor. Such entrepreneurial activities, such as the creation of Dale Earnhardt Inc., DEI, enhanced Dale's legacy. DEI turned into one of the best NASCAR teams with the help of talented and competent drivers such as Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale was not only a great driver, but also a successful businessman who strived for the company's prosperity and contributed a lot to the development of NASCAR. As it will be seen from the tributes and honors given to him after his death, Dale enjoyed the respect and admiration of people during his working years. Many Motorsports Hall of Fame of America awards and NASCAR Hall of Fame inductions, statues, and memorials celebrate his achievements in the field. The Dale Earnhardt Foundation, an organization which was formed in his honor, also supports charitable causes and programs, hence continuing with his benevolent nature of donating to the needy. What do you think of Dale Earnhardt and Dale Earnhardt Jr.? Leave your comments in the section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you soon.